Emil, very good morning from here in Cyprus.
Yeah, great morning indeed. You see the weather and the nature here. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and this is the venue for the FIDE candidates, and I was curious to know, how did FIDE decide to make this the venue? Could you take us through the process of how it began, how Cyprus became the venue, and then this Cap St. George's?
Right. Well, it's never easy to explain it by one decision or by one factor. Actually, when you plan for hosting the event at some particular location, before it happens, you have to consider so many factors. So when we considered what would be first of all, who would be the sponsors and hosts for the event, of course, we considered several options. And we had 2024 in Toronto, and that was a successful event. As you remember, it was also sponsored by Scheinberg family. And already back then, ESI confirmed his willingness to support for 2026 edition. And that was a very good start. At the same time, we thought of improving the event in every aspect. We raised prize funds significantly. If you remember, it went from 700,000 to 1 million. We tried to think of how we could improve on literally every side of it, like commentary, broadcast, location in terms of, because let's say in Toronto was a good city for hosting it, and there was a lot of spectators, but we were not quite happy with the, let's say, general arrangement. It's very difficult in a big city to have something very good for 3 weeks plus.
It's also expensive, right?
It is. This place is also very expensive, as you could see, yeah. But even the availability is an issue. And expenses as well, obviously, and logistics in the big places is often something that we have to accept some trade-offs typically. Let's say like in London during World Rapid Teams, it's great to have it in London. So many teams came, so great opportunity, but then the venue itself was not spectacular, right? So there are many trade-offs in big cities. Even in Madrid in 2022, when we played in a very great, really great place in some palace, you remember?
Yeah.
But the location for hotels, we had to split players between 2 hotels because there was not enough rooms with the big rooms like here. Because once again, it's not just typical rooms. Let's say for all the players here, and it's I want people to know, all 16 players are in the suites, so they have 2 rooms apartment. In one they can simply sleep in the bedroom, and another one is to prepare for the games when the coaches come and so on. So it was also not easy to get. So we obviously need to take these things in consideration, and the entire budget kept increasing. And we realized that ESI's commitment, although is very important and I would say critical, would need to be also supported by another major sponsor. And I think it was a very good decision to combine 2 of our main sponsors, Freedom and Scheinberg family, to join the forces to co-sponsor the event together. Both of them were receptive to the idea, and obviously they knew about each other. And I had to be a connecting point. I was like, it was a bit of a shuttle diplomacy, you know, to go there, to go here, to listen to everyone's, let's say, thoughts. And then we had to determine where the location should be. Because for both of them, there are some countries where they would have preferred. It's not like they're saying it should be here, but I had a list of their preferences, and that it should be combined with our interest and how it works, how to promote it. And the third factor came in when I had the idea of Cyprus, because that's where the European headquarters of Freedom are hosted here. You would be surprised how big they are here. There are hundreds of freedom workers here in
I think in
Cyprus.
the opening ceremony you mentioned 600 people work here.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's really big in Limassol, and they have a very beautiful headquarters in Limassol. And actually, they erected chess academy just opposed the headquarters in Limassol. Yeah,
Wow.
it's very nice there. Yeah, so it's called Freedom Chess Academy. And then I spoke to Isai and managed to have his confirmation on this one. And he immediately asked, yes, but Cyprus, but do they have any proper location to have such a big event? You know, Cyprus is not a big country. They are famous for their tourism and industry, but you wouldn't want just, you know, some typical chain hotel to host it because, well, not quite appropriate, and also the playing venue would be an issue. And then I got in touch with Roman Dubov, who is a sport entrepreneur and who is an owner of football club Paphos, and who was very much engaged in chess activities as a junior in his youth. He was a first category player and still very passionate about the game. And I told him about the idea, and he basically introduced me to. He said, "Okay, I have the best hotel in the entire country. That would ideally suit all what you need, but you would just need to convince the the hotel owner to host it and so." And then we met with George.
Isn't Roman Dubov also part of Total Chess? Is he the one?
No. Okay, I have to dispel this confusion. Roman Dubov has his own company, which is called Total Sports Entertainment or something like that. Has nothing to do with Total Chess, Norwegian Chess, or something like that. It's another case of Vladimir Kramnik being not accurate with some of his claims. So actually, the name is Total, yes, but it has nothing to do. His company exists for, I don't know, like 10 or 15 years, like that. The point being that Roman he lives in London for 25 years or something like that. He works in sport industry or business for all these years. He was. He was a stakeholder in Tottenham Spurs in football. He owned some sort of race cars world championships. He was an owner of Leaders in Sports, Sports Summit conference, and so on and so forth. And and so for that matter, we thought that getting here could be a good idea, because that would allow to host it not only in a nice hotel, because there are many nice hotels in Cyprus, but in a unique environment when players can play, enjoy the surroundings, have a lot of places to recharge, and so for covering the event also we'll get nice pictures from here, because it's amazing views. And Cap St. George was what was important. They were also ready to be as a partners, and not just you know, sometimes you just come to hotel and you just book some number of rooms and that's it. But they are real partners for the event, and they contribute towards its happening. And the team of the hotel was very professional and were very engaged from the beginning. And when I met George and his CFO Christos, we already felt that it would be a right choice. And of course, the details had to be worked out. And
what goes into sort of saying like this is the right choice? Because location-wise, it's amazing, rooms and all. And is there something else that goes into it? Like you see maybe the management of the hotel, how cooperative they are, and so on, or?
Okay, it's on several levels. You want to feel the hosting hotel as a partner and not just as someone who with whom you would book a certain number of nights. So they expressed the interest to be real partners for the tournament. And they also, we had from the very beginning, they established a team to work on it. And although our events team is very professional, it's always important that the host team or LOC is proactive and engaged, and we saw it from day one, even before we agreed on anything. So they were very motivated also to host it. They were looking to it as an opportunity to contribute to something which they respect, chess, and that's again about the chess and its reputation. And George himself, the owner of the hotel, was basically all you see around is something that he planned and built himself. That's amazing. He runs this place for 20 odd years, and it was just the land. And now you see it's a resort, it's a hotel, it's a lot of sport playgrounds. They have here even I don't know, kindergarten, school, and now they're building some sort of a hospital here. So they're really expanding. Now, talking about the comfort for players, obviously it's important that, okay, it's a long tournament, it's 3 weeks, and you need players to recharge, to have an opportunity to do sports, just to walk after the game, to jog, to have nice food. If you've been to, I don't know if you did this
Yes.
tour, but I mean a lot of various foods, and actually immediately they asked us what we need to do from the food, and immediately we said, okay, look, it's a long period of time, we need various sorts of food. We have several Indian players, so we need a lot of food for vegetarians and so on. And they all were very accommodative in this regard. They would say that basically throughout the tournament it would serve as not just as, you book the number of nights, as real partners who promote this event. And I must say that not only they didn't disappoint us, but they over-deliver on their promise, and we are very happy with this cooperation. And of course, the place is unique, really unique. I mean, I've been to many places, to resort places as well, but this one is special. I mean, this territory is huge and it's well cared of, and there is a lot of activities you can do. Like we had this halloumi session another night. On the next 3 days, we will come up with something more. First time I arrived here, I was immediately thrilled by the atmosphere, because I went to the celebration, which they didn't stage it for me. It was like natural. They had the host of their hotel and resort, the ceremony of olive oil pressing, because it was the first olive oil season or something. So they had this one with a lot of bread loaves and olive and some meat and some wine and local colorant. So it was. We felt immediately that it could be much more than just a hosting partner, and indeed it happened. So, of course, matching all this, not easy, but again, we had 3 inspections here. I've been to 2, but my colleagues also came for a separate one to plan everything, to the venue, the food, the rooms, everything was like taken care of, because let's say the playing room you need to measure, then to design how it would look, then to try and plan where the players would go in, go out, how the path to toilet would be, was an anti-cheating security zone, how the spectators come in. And you see, there are a lot of spectators here. Less than in Toronto, but still quite a lot. Every round we have more than 100 people coming on. And the fun zones are actually quite impressive, and we have an activity every day. It is either simul games, or not either. It's simul games, some lectures, some special Q&A sessions, and so on. Literally every day we have it. We have Vishes there, we had Kostenyuk there, we had Dragobov there, we invited Professor Levantsov there, and we'll have more. We actually have more, as I promised you. And it is important for us that the event becomes not only, we hosted candidates, thank you, goodbye. I mean, that it leaves some sort of aftertaste, that kids who are numerous here coming and getting inspiration. And first and foremost, the players. Because you know, players at these top levels, they, if something even minor thing is disturbing, you would hear about it or read about it in Twitter immediately, right? And I think players had no reasons to complain so far. And what's more, many of them came to me and praised the event's organization, and I'm really proud of pulling it together with my team.
And in general, putting such an event together, if it is not a secret, could it be told like how much is the cost to put this entire thing together for FIDE?
For candidates, it's always, you can always do it like in a reasonable way or in a grand way, but let's say the budget we see as the minimal one for the candidates is 3 million USD, and then whatever comes on top allows you to invite more guests, to have better program, to invest in broadcast and so on and so forth. But 3 million is a minimum figure.
And in general, like, to do an event of this stature, the first thing that you as a person, like as FIDE, thinks about is how to get a sponsor on board, then the location, then the actual, like, is it dependent that the location and the venue both have to be found, or you are like, okay, Cyprus, come what may, and then I will look at the hotel, or how does it work in your head?
No, first you need sponsors. First you need to know that you have this money secured, at least in larger part. Of course, it helps when you have already part of the money secured. Let's say I'm grateful to Scheinberg because we knew that we have part of the money secured, and I could come to our long-standing partner at Freedom, who is doing so much for chess, and
Yes.
is doing in so many directions, like not only the top events, the special, about this program for chess in Asia, where they send teachers and do tournaments in many countries, be it Nepal or be it, there's 12 countries enjoying from this program as far as I remember. And Mr. Tulov supported it, and it was a very strong beginning, right? When you have almost all the funds necessary already in place, that helps. And indeed, we after you secure large part or significant part of the budget required, it's already easier. Then you can come. That's why I said it's shuttle diplomacy. You have to. This term was very popular in the 1970s. When you want to broker a peace deal between two parties, so you can't immediately do it, right? You need to go to this one, and sometimes you need to go to third party to explain what would be the perks. So you have to connect the dots, but of course,
This takes time, right?
It takes time. It takes a lot of networking, but thankfully, our team, Dvorkovich, myself, and so on, we already are running things for almost 80 years. So this network obviously helps, because people, that we have an idea with Cyprus, so we can call to the president of Cyprus Chess Federation, Mr. Tornaridis, share with him the idea, to get his support of hosting the event in his country, to consider together with him what we can do for the local chess community, because it must be reciprocal. It's not like just we're coming to. No. We contribute to local kids. Here today we will have two national champions, which happen to be both of them teenagers. Wow. The girl is 12 years old, and she's national champion, and the boy is 18. And then you connect another by bringing, that Vishy will be here, Gelfand will be here, Kostenik will be here, so you'll benefit from all this sort of things. So it is always like very, how would I say, many dots to connect, but at the same time, it is something that allows you to do so much for basically everyone, for professional players, for fans, because following online, for a local chess community, for media, because you are hosted here, and I think you can enjoy and share your feelings as well.
It's also one of the events that everyone looks forward to. Like, there is so much at stake, so then that makes it very exciting. It's not one of the many events in the year, it is really something to look forward to.
Indeed, and we treat it accordingly. We put a lot of effort into that. This anti-cheating discussion which Hikaru raised, we put a lot of thought into that. When in November we started discussing the budget and so on, I knew that the budget I achieved by that point is sufficient to invest into new additional layers of security, and I connected with our team, with Andy Howie, who is the chief of FIDE Fair Play, and asked him to review several options in, let's say, securing the event to the maximum level, and with an emphasis that players should not feel any additional pressure, but they should be protected in a better way. Because we know the technology is advanced, so we have to all the time to invest into that. And I think it was well executed, and that's because we do take the event very seriously. And Candidates is, Candidates is a brand. It's something like, it's only second to the World Championship match, basically. And having it at the location which would showcase also how chess is a prestigious sport, right? It's not just something, because once again, I come back to that. The money we have in chess is largely due to our status and the prestige chess gets and enjoys justly, and not the sheer eyeballs. It just doesn't work in chess. If the economy of chess would be based solely on the eyeballs, we wouldn't have as high prize funds as we have now. It is basically any new organizer who comes into the game, he sort of uses this fact of chess enjoying special, some sort of niche, but very respected niche in the society, that allows him or her to attract money into that. In spite of sometimes that, let's say, pure economy of eyeballs doesn't work here. It is much more of a premium product, and Candidates is premium of the premium, because it's something important. So I think people realize that, and that allows us constantly to find a support, be it from the companies like Freedom, who is obviously interested in promoting their brand. Scheinberg families, who is more of a donor rather than a sponsor, because they love chess, they respect chess, and they contribute. Governments, because they see how it can be important for their community, be it cities or countries. Hotels, not the first time we team up with the hotel, but I think it's the first time the cooperation is as grand as here. I'm really thankful to Cap St. George. I mean, it's amazing to have such a partner. And of course, it's not an easy job, but okay, that's my duty. But I have to say, not only duty, but a pleasure, because at the end of the day, when you know that you work towards something, and then this is followed by entire chess world, then it was not in vain.
Amazing. And a war broke out in between it. So I'm pretty sure that it put a lot of pressure and stress on FIDE, because you have to take a call, especially since you were in the preparations of this for months, and you'd put together everything, and then the war comes. How do you think in this situation? Were there any thoughts at any point that, okay, we need to change the location? What happened?
Well, it's not the first time that we have to exhibit this crisis management. Our almost entire work throughout these 7-8 years has been under the the COVID times came, and the question whether to start Candidate, whether to resume Candidates, whether to host Grand Swiss, how to host it, and every time whatever you do, you are under critics. Either people are unhappy that you are too cautious, or they're unhappy that you are too bold and you don't care, or something. So of course, every time is a decision, and we have to take responsibility for that. I mean, there is sometimes there is a decision which has to be taken under undefined circumstances. You cannot foresee everything, right? But you just have to operate on balance of risks and probabilities and real situation. Many people today are impacted by headlines or just some info. Somebody tagged in Twitter that Cyprus is under attack, so entire world could think that it's so. But our task here is to have real picture, to talk to all the stakeholders. Of course, we spoke to the government. We are in constant touch. Of course, a lot of work has been done with the hotel to make sure. And this ability to, let's say, to measure risks and to take correct steps is something that I think we can be pretty proud of. Some people may be unhappy, some people may have different opinions. That's all right, but I don't think throughout this time we have been through 2022. Remember, the Olympiad was supposed to be in Moscow, and then Russia invaded Ukraine, and then we had to reschedule Olympiad and to take it very, very quickly, and many decisions. And this is always a question of assessing the situation in a best possible way, and to be ready also to bear the consequences. So if something happens unexpectedly, how you respond to that? Let's say COVID 2020, we started the candidates. So how we are ready to tackle all these situations that might occur, including paying for, I don't know, special transfer with a private jet for all the players and so on. Yes, but it's part of our job. As for this particular situation with Cyprus, I would think that the whole narrative was somewhat exaggerated, because I mean, Cyprus has no part in this war, and Cyprus was not like attacked or something. So at the beginning of the war, there was some drone sent to British air base. Yeah. It's hundreds of miles away from here, and it's not like a missiles attack or something. I mean, we have to take things in proportion, because otherwise we need to say, okay, if there was a rocket aimed at Diego Garcia and it is capable to fly 4,000 kilometers, so we cannot stage any event in the radius of that, and we cannot go no to Greece and no to other European country. It would be a bit too much. And once again, I mean, we are not living in a vacuum. We are living in a very challenging world. And there are many things happening, and there are many risks on any other place. So the question is to assess these risks properly and to be ready to act if the situation is changing, because the most important thing, and also in my position, I always claim to follow this narrative, not to be, to follow some path which we design for ourselves, some decision, and we will do. Always to be ready to adjust when needed. And sometimes it may seem like, okay, FIDE doesn't have a clear policy, but my take is that if we are able to adjust to the challenges which they are, that's the best policy. Because in today's world, it's simply impossible to plan something for many years ahead and then to execute. Things are changing. AI is changing the world. Trump is changing the geopolitical map, and so on. So how we after all, we are a small chess world. We have to adapt, and we have to be strong enough, smart enough, and dynamic enough to respond to all these challenges.
Right. And in general, even now, like let's say this war situation did have a concrete impact on the event that Humpy pulled out. And was that something that now that you think about it, something could be done, or you think that nothing could have changed there? What's your thought on that?
Nothing could have changed, obviously. I spoke to Humpy herself first time when she raised concern. And we are all-time friends, and we know each other for 20 years, and she played in my team, and I'm full of admiration, and really, I mean, Humpy is legend. but I think her call here was, I mean, it's her right. We are not going to fine her or to take her under any sanctions because, of course, this quitting the tournament was sort of, it was not based just on nothing. It was based on some real concerns. But I think it was just taken out of proportion. I just really think that I don't like this narrative where people come, not Humpy, but where people in comments come, yes, of course, safety is first. Why is safety is first? Maybe the freedom is first in your life. Maybe your dreams is first in your life. Maybe your entire, something that drives you is first in your life. If safety is first, lock yourself at home. And I'm not talking about Humpy again, not to be misunderstood. I don't just accept that the safety is first is a priority, because it's not clear what is first in this life. And in this case, I think the concerns were a bit not in correspondence with the reality. Because again, it's we spoke about it with you. If we speak about the likelihood to be damaged by something, it comes from so many possibilities and misfortunate things that can happen to you, and that the likelihood of drone arriving 3 weeks before, 4 weeks before you take a decision, and it's a drone. Once again, let's not take things out of proportion. I mean, it was not like ballistic rockets that attacked here, and I mean, everybody's living normal life here and lived the same day when it happened. And once again, here we also took precautions with all the players were informed about what kind of precautions we took, and I just think that we couldn't do anything. I mean, you cannot postpone such an event. Because you just can't. You can't remove it without any good reason. I feel sorry for Humpy's decision, but at the same time, I think that if we were taking a decision to shift every time when a player exhibits even motivated concern about this or that matter, then we wouldn't be able to ever pull big events one after another. Because imagine your entire calendar when somebody expresses, you did it there, I wouldn't go there, it's dangerous, it's, I might be under some sort of danger there, or it's not inconvenient to arrive there, I have to fly not this way but that way. Once again, the risks has to be measured, and I think it's not for nothing that no other player exhibited the concern of the kind. And we have no cancellation, not only from players, but also from media, also from members of FIDE Council, also entire FIDE team was here. Just so, I mean, it's not like FIDE said, okay, guys, you come there and we will rest at our homes and all good. Everybody was here, and you saw here. And FIDE Council, FIDE Management Board. So it's, again, Humpy decided what she decided. It doesn't make me think of her less. I hope my words wouldn't make her think of me less, but it's. I think this call, objectively, was not motivated, but what exactly. I mean, was not. There was no sufficient ground for this call due to how the situation is. Once again, nobody can predict the future. Things can change, but we must operate in a paradigm of what's happening, what is the best of now our knowledge, and our best ability to react. Okay, so maybe we can foresee something for 2 weeks when we have no. We cannot foresee what will happen in a month and where it will happen. So how you decide on that? You just have to operate once again to the best of your knowledge, also to rely on information you have from the major stakeholders like government here and the hosts here, that we would know that there is a shelter in the hotel. It's officially certified shelter if anything happens. You have electricity generators if there is a cutoff, so the whole hotel keeps running. You have all the necessary conditions to, but these are precautions. If we were to think that, okay, the drones will keep hitting, but we will keep playing, that would, like, you know, these musicians on Titanic, that would be a different story. It is not. It is not like that. And although we are ready to meet it if things are happening, we do not anticipate them happening, and we consider them very unlikely to happen and destroy the tournament.
And can you tell our viewers, like, what goes into it when, let's say, someone suggests a venue change? Like, for example, in this case, it was mentioned on Twitter by Vadim Rosenstein to do it in Germany, or by, I think, Hikaru mentioned in one of his interviews that Rex Sinkfield mentioned to do it in St. Louis. At that point, people think, oh, that this event can be shifted, can be changed. You know, these are much safer locations. So as FIDE, what exactly are the things that come into consideration if you have to kind of shift the venue?
First of all, I think Vadim's was a tweet ahead of any formal proposal he had, which is not a good sign for any serious. If he wants to help and if he is concerned, he should come through official ways and not to seek some sort of public support and likes instead of discussing it with FIDE, if that's his consideration and his concern. As for St. Louis, we never got any sort of a formal request to let's move it to St. Louis. No. We got a letter that they're concerned, and that's true, but we never got a letter that let's bring it to St. Louis. Now, shift is basically on a short notice is very problematic or nearly impossible. Because unless we really feel that it's a must to consider, you have to operate in some sort of a legal framework. You don't have some sort of, war state or emergency state in Cyprus. You have an event which is backed by the country, by the local hosts, by the sponsors, you have agreements, and so on. Once again, if there is a danger for player and we feel that it's real danger, that's a different story. We don't feel so, and our evaluation is, we believe, is correct. Another option and another, let's say, layer of a problem, visa issues. You cannot, even if you had, if Cyprus government was declaring some emergency and hotel would say and sponsors would agree to relocate, you have a visa issues because you cannot get within a week or two visas for Schengen visas for players who are not having it. Another layer is purely organizational. You simply cannot organize a high-level event of this kind within a week or two. It doesn't work like that. We spent several months planning out, as I told you, everything from lodging and broadcasting and layout of the event, all the measurements, all the housing. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, we would do so if we would imagine the situation in Cyprus would be, like in Israel today. We would need to shift, but then we would need to also move it in further to make sure that we have enough time both to provide players with visas and both to make necessary arrangements with everything which is concerned staging the event. You don't pull such a big event within a week. The only possible way here to, let's say, move a tournament would be if the situation was really, really dangerous and there would be some official confirmation to that, and we, of course, would need to be very quick and very, efficient in our decisions, because once again, you would need to co-organize it with so many stakeholders. the situation didn't require it at all. It was not even close to the situation, I would put it this way. So that's why I find the announcements which was published by Vadim was more PR than anything else. Because you don't do such a thing. You want to help, you come to FIDE, he knows very well the addresses and says, look guys, maybe you need help, maybe I can help. Maybe. As for the hosting it, if someone wanted to host, and St. Louis included, obviously, we had the bidding procedure, and there was a window of several months that we accepted the bids. And it's not like we just decided, okay, let's go for Cyprus. No, they had an opportunity. We would love to cooperate with St. Louis. They do a lot of great things. They keep doing it for more than 15 years now. But you don't make such a shift within a week or two. And you don't move the event if there is no sufficient grounds to that according to at least official state and our own understanding. Sponsors is already the second step, and there you can discuss maybe to move the obligations and so on. But these two are not. Also think about other players. Let's say Humpy didn't want to play. But what if other players? Other players build their entire preparation towards that. Maybe they plan to be in the peak of their activity. Maybe they plan their previous events towards that to come at their best here. They may have other obligations in, let's say, in the end of April, May already, because some of them are playing Grand Chess Tour. So it would move the entire. It just doesn't work like that. And I think people who are commenting often underestimate the fact that no matter who came and tweeted something, FIDE would not operate just because one person would get 500 likes on his complaint or her complaint. It just doesn't work like that. We have to assess all the situation. We have to care about the players' safety, players' best conditions for them to play, and so on. But at the end of the day, we cannot be influenced by some rage bite going around.
Fantastic, Emil. Thank you so much for sharing this entire, one can say, a playbook to organize an event when it comes to getting the sponsors, the the local organizing committee, the venue, the location. It's a lot of work that goes in, and I think it's very interesting to know that all of this work starts way in advance. It takes months and months of planning to make this happen.
It does. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm obviously not the only one for my main, let's say, responsibility lies with the organizers and contracts and financial side of it. But you mentioned Playbook. We have a Playbook or white paper for every big event already drafted. So we have, then we approach the organizers of Olympiad, of Candidates, of World Championship match. We send it to them to know, and it's huge, and it's not me, it's my team, FIDE team, who has been doing it, and we have quite really extensive work on that, and I want to thank Pavel and Maria, who were leading the project of defining it. But indeed, it's a huge work, and I hope the players at the end of the day, they don't have to know what work comes behind. They just, at least if when the results are here, I'd be happy for them to feel good, that they came to the event and they enjoyed it, no matter how good or bad they're playing.
Thank you, Emil, for your time, and thanks for this interview.
Thank you, Sagar.